So as a part of Season 3 Reloaded, we've had some brand new intel that tells us more about DLC 2, about the story of our next round-based zombies map, which we know is located in Berlin and will likely include parts of Kino Der Toten, just like Die Machine had parts of Nacht. Besides from the intel we have in game, we've already known since the very beginning, back in November, through a cipher and Weaver's computer screen, that Berlin was always going to be a zombies map. And if you just look at Weaver's computer, the red dot on here is pretty much near to where Kino Der Toten is located. So we've known about Berlin since the beginning, but now with the build-up of intel through Season 1, 2, Season 3, we're now starting to get a very good idea of how the story will begin. We know before that we have the Outbreak Easter egg, that should be coming as a part of Season 3 Reloaded, and that will then lead on to the Berlin map, and which we've been told by Troyok we should be seeing in Season 4. It could be a little bit later, it could be a little bit sooner. But what do we know about the Berlin map story then? How will it begin? What's going to be taking place? What will it revolve around? Well, in order to learn this, we need to go back to the beginning and listen to a conversation between two Omega Group scientists, being Dr. Kolke and Dr. Valentina.
Is this everything? Surely there is more.
I assure you, Dr. Valentina, this is everything.
Research on membrane permutations? What about the particle distortion modules?
Everything you need on targeted dimensional breaching is there.
Otlично. Have it delivered to this address.
You're not taking it with you?
Is there a problem with my order?
No, I just thought...
Thinking is a dangerous thing, is it not, comrade? Have it delivered to the address. Make sure you are not discovered by Peck.
Believe me, he is half of the reason I am doing this.
And the other half?
Why, for the good of the motherland, of course.
Of course. For the motherland.
So Valentina is telling Dr. Kolke to send everything she needs for research on membrane permutations, along with particle distortion modules, to Berlin. We are told they are needed to target dimensional breaches. When all of Dr. Valentina's equipment arrives in Berlin, she then meets up with a German contact, but little did she know her conversation was being recorded by the BND. The transcript is as follows. Valentina, need update on site. Unknown contact. Readings confirm membrane permeable. Has date been determined? Valentina, this is not up to me. Just keep your people ready to mobilise. Unknown contact, acknowledged. However, some starting to question if this is even possible. Valentina, eliminate the doubters. No margin for error. Ground must be prepared. Unknown contact, understood. We'll make example of them. Valentina, good, but do so quietly. Do not lose element of surprise. The BND don't know who this person is that Valentina's met up with. Considering that their conversation was translated from German, since Valentina is Russian, we can only assume that the unknown contact she met with is German, but that's as far as it goes. This German that Valentina is working with in Berlin is a mystery. We don't know who they are. But once Valentina has everything she needs for her operation set up in Berlin, she then travels back to the Kremlin, where she meets up with Kravchenko to present her proposed targets for Operation Inversia. This is the code name for what she's doing in Berlin.
I just returned from the Kremlin, where I presented the list of proposed targets for Operatia Inversia to the General Secretary and select members of the Committee for State Security. The results were mixed. I should be pleased that the overall plan was so well received. Perhaps they realized that without bold action the Soviet Union could collapse within a decade. And Inversia is nothing if not bold. It would be a death blow to the West, which may account for the committee's preference of two particular targets. But I pushed hard for Berlin. It would have afforded me further opportunities to complete my preparations there. The colonel did question my fixation on Berlin, but I just told him I hate the Germans. That is always enough of an excuse for veterans of the great patriotic war like Kravchenko.
From this, they learn that Valentina didn't tell them the whole story. She didn't admit to them why she specifically chose Berlin for this operation. Valentina has her own reasons she doesn't want to share. But anyway, not long after, on the 22nd of July, Kravchenko then calls her into a meeting where he announces to her that he's taking over her project.
Just a moment. 22nd of July 1984. Commencing a meeting. Valentina, Sit, please.
You said you wanted to see me.
Doctor, how do you find my leadership techniques?
Efficient. Effective. You produce results.
And you would agree that should be our goal, huh? To produce results, above all else.
Of course, Colonel. What is this about?
It occurred to me, you have said very little about my commandeering of Operatia Inversia.
Sir?
Come now. It was your project. Until I swooped in and snatched it from you. You must be upset. Angry.
I am, above all else, loyal to Omega. While it is true you have adjusted its parameters, if you believe it is the correct course of action, you have my full support.
I already had that. Give me your honesty. You must have questions. Speak freely.
Where did I fail? When I brought it to the committee, they seemed impressed. Did my targets present too great a risk? Was my plan too ambitious?
Too ambitious. You were not ambitious enough. But that is not a failing of yours. There is much you do not know. My intelligence tells me there is something out there. It is watching our world, looking for a way in. If it finds one, we must be ready. Rest assured, the West will be ours. But first, we must face the wolf at the door.
As always, I follow your orders. I am committed to our cause. We were the first.
And we are the last. Very good. Without you, my Operatia Inversia would not exist.
Always happy to build a solid foundation, Colonel.
In her diary she writes, another meeting with Kravchenko today. More insight into his new proposal. It would seem our vision for Operation Slavia is no more, and that his new plan may threaten that of which we have worked so hard to achieve. It is no matter, I must remain resolute. All is not lost. Yet. So many years. He has waited long for this day, but he can keep waiting. Just a little bit longer. There is no rush. No need to provoke the bear. I must only find the opportunity to prevent the discovery. Perhaps the captain could be useful after all, to derail their plan. I must stay focused, stay committed. I've dedicated everything to Ada's struggle. I must wait for him to give me the signal. When the time is right, I will know. After all these years, after all my loyalty, after all I've sacrificed, he owes me that much. Valentina. So she's obviously angry that her plan in Berlin has been disrupted. Kravchenko's come in and his new proposals aren't what Valentina originally planned. But there is clearly a secret that she's keeping from all of us. Even we don't really know. We don't know the actual purpose of what Valentina's doing here. Her research is to do with dimensional membrane permutations as well as particle distortion modules, all things required for targeting dimensional breaches, so it's obvious that she's trying to open up other dimensional gateways to allow the creatures of the Dark Ether to enter their world. But the big question is, why? And we kind of get a better answer to that in this next radio, which is Valentina talking to herself.
16th of August, 1984. Personal log. He visited me again tonight. As I slept, he appeared before me. He is but a shadow to me, so close yet so far. He told me to have faith. I must stay the course. There were recent developments last month that were unanticipated. He assured me that all was not lost. His plan, our plan, is still on schedule. He had new instructions for me. I will see that they are completed. We will be reunited. We will rise again. Our destiny is all but assured.
She tells us that someone has been visiting her. A shadowy figure appears in front of her. He told her to have faith and that she must stay the course. Yes, the recent developments with Kravchenko taking over the project in Berlin have been a problem, but this shadow assured Valentina that all is not lost. His plan, our plan, is still on schedule. He's given her new instructions and she is to complete them. Valentina says, "We will be reunited. We will rise again. Our destiny is all but assured." So from this we can gather whatever Valentina's doing in Berlin, why she wants to open up a dimensional gateway, has something to do with this shadowy figure. It is this person talking to Valentina, telling her to do this. This person must be someone trapped within the Dark Ether, but the big question is, who? For me, there are two answers. One, this is the controller of all of the creatures from the Dark Ether, possibly the controller of the zombies, who wants Valentina to help him to help them escape. Or the second answer is, what if this person talking to Valentina is Hitler? And the reason I say that is because we know that at the end of Die Maschine, Hitler's final plan before they lost World War II, it was to have all of the remaining Nazis hide in the Dark Ether because he knew they were going to lose the war, and then one day, when they built up a big enough army, they would escape the Dark Ether and start a new world war, this time with the Nazis being zombies, something much harder to kill. And that makes sense. This is almost 40 years after World War II ended. They would have had more than enough time to build up a big enough army, and Berlin is the perfect location to unleash a Nazi horde. And it could just be that Hitler is still alive in there as a zombie. Is he the one giving her instructions? We don't know. So this is very, very interesting. If true, it's obvious why Valentina is hiding this from Kravchenko. Obviously, she wouldn't want him to know. He's a patriot, he's a Russian, he's not going to want the Nazis to return, which is why she's given him a cover story. But the bigger question to me is, why would Valentina want that to happen? Has this shadowy figure just got in her head, or does she actually want this? Because she's Russian too. Anyway, whatever it is, it all seems like something massive is going to happen in DLC 2. So guys, there we go, that is it. That is all I have for you for today's video. Before this map, we are having the Outbreak Easter egg, and that will lead on to Berlin, so there's still a lot more to learn. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Drop a like rating if you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.